What's going on, everybody? Today I wanted to go more in depth into the Huckberry Peak Design travel bags collab and just talk about the travel line in general. I know this is going to be a long one, so I'm going to try to split everything up in chapters so you guys can easily find what you want. And I may release everything, like each individual product, later. But I promise to try to make this interesting for you and keep your attention. So let's get into it. So if you've heard me talk before, you know I absolutely love the Peak Design and Huckberry travel bags collaboration because the changes they've made are changes that I really like. One being the color. I freaking love this coyote colorway. The other big thing that is a huge difference in the normal travel gear and the Peak Design and Huckberry ones are the fabric. The fabric is an X-Pack fabric. Now, if you don't know what X-Pack is, let's go into it a little bit. I'll use this wash pouch as an example. If you can see on it, it has this woven X material that's laminated in between two other pieces of fabric. And X-Pack was originally designed to be a modern day sailcloth. And so it's got all this strength that keeps it from like ripping in the wind and shearing like that with the woven bits in it. And then obviously it's water resistant and really tough. Now, I don't think it's as tough to like abrasions as the regular fabric because Peak Design did a great job with their original fabric. And the X-Pack stuff has a bit of a smoother finish, so I don't know that it would hold up as well to abrasion, but I haven't had any problems with the stuff that I have. Now, with it being a different fabric, there is one negative if you're someone who is kind of sensitive to sounds. Now, what do I mean by that? Well, it's a little loud and crinkly. Now, here's the normal fabric. X-Pack fabric. So not a huge ordeal, but I know some people are super sensitive to sound, so it's just something to keep in mind. Now that we've got the important differences in between the Peak Design and Huckberry collab and the regular travel line out of the way, the only other differences are colorways on the hardware that they've used. Like everything else is very similar. So let's get into talking about the actual products. We're gonna start with the wash pouches. Now the wash pouches come in two varieties. The regular size, which is about this big, and then the newer, smaller size, which I am personally very thankful that they made. Because honestly, the large size was just too big for me. I didn't need that much space and it just ended up taking a lot of space in my bags. But let's look at the original, the large size. This is into the sage colorway, which as far as the travel line goes, everything that I have that's not the Peak Design Huckberry version is in the sage colorway because I thought it was great. And it hides dirt and stuff a lot better than the black. Everybody thinks black is going to hide dirt and grime and that kind of stuff when you're out and about, but let me let you in on a little secret. It does not. It shows up so quick. So you get black if you want to look cool and stylish all in black. But if you're really, concerned about dirt and just want it to look nice for longer, get this ash gray or this, or one that's dirt colored. That's your goal. Now, the first thing we'll talk about is this little hook here, because this is on both versions, but the design is more than just a hook that you can hang on stuff. What Peak Design did was actually clever because when you hang it, it unfolds and just lays out like you need so you can get to everything very quickly and easily, and you don't have to fumble around with stuff. Before we get to this big inside pocket, let's talk about this little outside pocket. It's a very small pocket. I use it for like this wake up eye serum stuff that I have that I just absolutely love. It gets me feeling really refreshed at the beginning of the day. But that goes right there so I can just get to it easily in the mornings when I'm fumbling around trying to wake up, right? Now let's look at this big pocket. I mean, this pocket has room for everything. And beyond the huge spaces, there's a magnetic closure for a toothbrush right here. And what's really cool is it has these little pull tabs that you can pull out. And that's so that you can easily clean out the toothbrush area, because that little middle magnetic area is meant for toothbrushes, and that's where they go. And so you've got little pull tabs that you can just yank out and scrub it down if toothbrush stuff gets there and starts making it gross. Very clever design. But clever design is kind of the name for the game with Peak Design, and that's why I like their products so much. Then the rest of your pockets are just kind of full of these mesh pockets everywhere that are made out of like a nice like rubbery feeling material that's obviously very water resistant and waterproof, but it's just a big empty space for all of your stuff. And it does a great job at that. But like I said, it might be a little too big for some people. It was for me. And that's where the little one comes in. Now, for me, this has been the perfect size. You do lose out on that first external pocket that I was talking about, but you still have the nice hanger. Everything hangs up, opens up, nice and easy to get to. So super cool there. But while you do lose out on that outside pocket, you actually gain an internal pocket with those easy cleaning flip out bits. So you have the magnetic toothbrush one, right? Like boom, right there, there it is. And it does the little cool flip out thing. But then you also have on the other side a zippered one that also has the cool little flip out pull tabs that let you clean it really easily. So honestly, kind of a great trade-off. And then it's got enough room for the things that I like to take, because when I'm going places, like I'll have shampoo and stuff in the hotels I stay at, so I don't need that. So what I take with me are things like pore strips and, you know, facial cleaners and stuff that I'm not gonna have at the hotel. So I don't need a huge amount of stuff, just a little bit of stuff to get with me. Throw in a thing of deodorant and I'm good to go. But like this fits everything that I need it to fit, and it does a great job. Same great organization. And that's why I prefer this small one over the larger size. But you know, you may be someone who carries more stuff with you, and that's totally fine. But that's where Peak Design really has you covered. And you can get both of these in the X-Pack or the traditional fabric. Like, you don't have to make a choice based on the type of fabric you want, right? So that's the wash pouches. I think maybe we should move on to the tech pouches next. So what the wash pouch is to your like everyday cleaning essentials, the tech pouch is to all your cables and stuff. Now, the tech pouch that I've been using is obviously the Huckberry Peak Design one in that X-Pack fabric, because I got it in everything that I could get it in, because I absolutely love that fabric personally. But functionally, they're both the same, so just know you can get this in the regular fabric or the Huckberry Peak Design Coyote X-Pack fabric. Now, this thing has the same weather-resistant zippers that all Peak Design products have. And the tech pouch actually has loads of little handles that you can grab from everywhere. So it doesn't matter how you throw it in your bag, you'll always be able to easily get to it. And that's really just smart design. I'm probably gonna say that way too much in this video, because Peak Design's just so great at that. Beyond the handles, it also has these little loops here and these little like slide throughs that are designed for the clips that go with all the travel bags. These little things are kind of the key to what make the travel backpack duffel bag system just work together. But you slide them in here, and then you can slide them into the backpack or the duffel bag, whatever you have, and clip it and latch it down so it doesn't go anywhere. It makes everything really secure. But that's enough about the outside. What about the inside? The organization, that's where it matters, right? Before we get all the way inside, there's one more feature that I need to show off. On the outside, you have a zip-up pocket here, but it's not just like a pocket, it also has this really cool little pass-through hole right here. Let me see if I can get it to where you can see it. Yeah, see it right there? And that pass-through hole is great for headphones or a battery pack, that you can keep it in the secure part with everything else and then just pass the cabling through to your cell phone, which is probably what's going to be in that little outside pocket. Again, smart design. Then you sit the pack down and it just folds open immediately on the table. Like you unzip it and boom, everything's right there in these little origami inspired pouches. And they just let you put whatever you want in. On the sides, you have some great little stretchy pockets, and you've got those on like both sides that you can put stuff. You have a zip pocket to keep things really secure in the middle, and then this main pocket will just open and close up as you need it. But yeah, lots of really cool ways to store all of your stuff in here. Now, like I said earlier, the tech pouch comes in either fabric, like the normal kind of Peak Design fabric or the Peak Design Huckberry fabric. But if you carry a lot of tech stuff like me, if you're shooting, filming, all that kind of stuff, it's a great way to organize yourself. And you could probably even use it for non-tech related stuff if you wanted to. But I think that wraps up everything on the tech pouch. So leave questions if I didn't cover anything that you think you might want to know about it in comments below. And that goes true with anything that I'm talking about. Just comment and let me know what you want to know about it. But now we're going to move on to the duffel bag. So up until now, we've talked about all the accoutrement of the travel gear from Peak Design, right? And using it, showing off the Peak Design and Huckberry collab colorway and all of that stuff. But all of that stuff needs a base to work with, right? And so for your base, you have several options. You have the duffel bag, the backpack, and a thing called a Duffelpack, which is essentially a duffel bag with backpack straps if you just need a ton of open space. So first up, let's talk about the duffel bag, because it's a really good duffel bag, and honestly, one of the cheaper entry points into the Peak Design bag world. Okay, so here is the duffel bag. I mean, pretty standard. Again, this is the Coyote colorway, but you have external pockets here, a little one here, and then a larger one right here, and it has those same sort of organization pockets that you'll see in the tech pouch and the wash pouch, which is really cool. Lots of parity of items across the line, right? But beyond that, you have a pouch here for storing ID, all that kind of stuff. Just great external storage before you even get into it. And same sort of thing on the other side. So you're not limited to just one side. This one doesn't have the ID storage on the outside. It just has those mesh pockets, but you still have the external pocket. And again, lots of great storage before you even get into the meat of the bag. But now let's get into the meat of the bag, which is the internal storage. With the duffel bag, you have two sizes you can get. You can get the 35 liter or the 65 liter if you need a lot of storage. I have the 35 liter. So on the 35 liter, the storage you get will hold 3 small camera cubes or the packing cubes, or a medium and a small camera cube, which is what I have in here just to make it kind of hold its shape, right? But it is a big empty cavity, and you do have a little bit of storage on the side here with like some great zip pockets on either side. Beyond the zip pocket, you also have those cool little lash-in things that make everything really secure. And that's where you'll hold your packing cubes or your camera cubes very securely with those little clips I showed earlier. But now that we've talked about all the storage, let's look at the other features of this bag that make it really, really special and just a really great duffel bag. So like with any Peak Design bag, you have chunky, water-resistant zippers here. And with like most Peak Design bags, if you've ever had one before, they can unhook and then lash into one another to make people pickpocketing the bag a little bit harder. Because realistically, things like pickpocketing are crimes of sort of ease. If you increase the barrier to entry, it doesn't have to be perfectly secure, but it's just enough to keep you from becoming such an easy target. And these things are great, that especially if you pair them with like a little carabiner. I like to use this really slim one from James brand here. And that's because it doesn't have to hold like a ton of weight like a real carabiner. And so I get a slim one so I don't really notice it, but then I can hook it to those little hooks on the bag and then loop the zippers through so that it's that much more secure. And it's worked great for me for years. And I've taken these bags everywhere. They have been with me all over the world. From here in the US and Canada to China and the Philippines. And I've never had an issue with it. And I'm not saying that it's perfect, but I think it helps just enough that I don't have to worry quite as much as you normally would. And outside of the zippers, you've got this nice center attaching sort of shoulder strap here. It's very comfortable, really easy to put on and use, and it feels great. A really cool feature is with all of these straps, you can pop them off and just kind of clean up your whole deal. So if you don't want the shoulder strap on, you just get rid of it. And then it's just the hand straps. Or maybe you only want the shoulder strap and you don't want the hand straps. It's those same easier to remove pieces. And this hardware is metal hardware, so it's not flimsy, it's not cheap, feels great. But yeah, you can just remove it to make it a nice, clean aesthetic, whatever you want. Like, it's kind of made to be what you need. Now, the carry handles on the top are nice and thick, and they feel good, and the way they stick together is they have little magnets in here. And it works fine when you're kind of like this, right? But when you pick it up, the magnets aren't quite strong enough to keep it together. So I kind of wish there was like a little leather strap that went around it to really hold them together nice and easy, but the magnets do an okay job. Now, the final really nice feature here are these grab handles. You have one of these on either end of the duffel, and that just makes it easy to use. It makes it easy to put into storage, take out of storage, put in a car, take out of a car, all that stuff. It makes it really easy to use that way. Now, I think that's all of the standout features to me about the duffel bag. If you have any more questions about it, please let me know in the comments. But for now, let's move on to the coup de grace, and that's the travel backpacks. Now, there is a duffel pack, which is like a duffel bag and a travel backpack mixed together, but I've never bought that one, so I don't have it here to review, but it's just kind of a cross in between what I just showed you and what I'm about to show you, so you can kind of get an idea from that. And all the fabrics and materials and build quality are all like the same, so you can at least get a good idea of kind of how that one's put together, right? So now we're going to talk about the king of the crop, the travel backpacks. It comes in 45 and 30 liter. And since the 45 liter has been around the longest, it's like the original travel backpack, we'll start with that one. So let's start with the front side of this 45 liter travel backpack. You've got lots of hook-in points here. You also have this little bit of storage here that is magnetically sealed, and it's for these attachment straps where you can kind of hook them to the sides here or whatever. But then there's also a rain fly that you can get that you can attach to those bottom loops there and put in there, so you can just quickly deploy it if you need some extra water protection, like if it's really downpouring. But then you have an external pocket here that's like really soft and nice for sunglasses or whatever. And you have these little buttons up here where you can expand or contract everything. And so you just snap them together and you make it way more slim than it originally was. Now, my 45 liter travel backpack is from their Kickstarter. And I'm pretty sure that since then, they don't use the snaps anymore and they use magnets. But honestly, even if you get an older version, I really like the snaps because they're nice and secure, and I can really load in this thing in its compressed 30-liter version and not have to worry about it coming undone, which I feel like I might have to with the magnets. Now, another thing with the front is on these front zips here, which are really cool, you have this piece of fabric here and you can actually put the zips up under so they can't unzip very quick. It's another one of those quick security methods that just work in practice. But if you don't have them tucked in that fabric, you can unzip here and there's just a nice little front piece that's separated from everything else. And I have some of my stuff from one of my Canada trips in here. But there are just lots of zipper pockets. There's a mesh pocket here, and then some fabric pockets, and then a different kind of mesh pocket here. And like all this stuff is just really nice little storage for things that you want to get to quickly in your bag. Before we get into the big part of the bag, the big internal cavity, I want to go around the rest of the outside and show you some cool features. So one thing that's really neat is on these side pockets here. On one of them, you have a little zippered pocket that's really hidden, so you can put stuff in there and know that it's nice and secure. And there's also a little ID thing on the same side where you can unvelcro it and slide out a little ID card with your contact info on it in case it gets misplaced. You're actually hoping strangers will be kind and give you the bag back. Then there's also more straps and loads of connection points here. And on the 45-liter, you actually have one of my favorite features, which is a deployable waistband. And holy cow, I wish they would do this with every backpack. It's only on the 45-liter, and I think the Duffelpack, because it's a 65-liter pack, but I could use this on every pack I own. And they sell some that you can buy extra and slide through on the everyday packs, but then obviously it doesn't come in every color, and it's super frustrating for a feature that, yes, I understand you're not going to use all the time, but when you need it, you really need it. And oh my goodness, it'd just be great to be able to have that. Yeah, a super cool little feature that has capture clip connection points on one side and then another little zippered pocket on the other side. Then another cool thing that all the travel backpacks do is you can take your straps and they pivot on this little thing, which one makes them really comfortable to wear, but also you can tuck them in here in this little sort of flap that holds the waist pack on the 45 or just the straps on the other, and it connects magnetically. And you can just lift it up and go, and it makes it easy to store, again, in cars, on planes, all that kind of stuff, because it gets all the excess out of the way and it just makes it nice and clean and awesome. And this doesn't come with the travel backpacks, but this is something that I do with all of my Peak Design bags, is I make sure that there is one of these little anchor clip things here. But then I have the anchors on my keys and even my cell phone here. And I can use that to attach those securely to those external pockets, and then I don't have to worry about misplacing them. I don't have to worry about what pocket it's in. It's on the same pocket of every one of my backpacks, and that has just made my life so much easier because it's not something that I have to consider or think about or worry if they're safe or not. They're just there. And highly recommend that. The everyday backpacks come with that little strap, but you can buy them separately and put them on your travel backpacks, and they are great. Now let's get into the big internal cavity on this backpack. So on both of the travel backpacks, you obviously have this great little laptop padded thing here. And what I like about it is it doesn't actually go all the way to the bottom. So you get a little space and you don't have to worry about your laptop hitting the ground. But inside there is like an iPad spot or a tablet spot, and then the actual laptop cavity. Super awesome. And then on the travel backpacks, it is just a giant hole in here. And it holds one large camera cube, or a medium and a small, like whatever you want to do, or just a bunch of packing cubes. And you have access to the zippers from the front side, that are on the back. So you can get them here too. And then specifically on the 45 liter, this isn't a thing on the 30 liter, and I wish it was, but you've got a little side zip action so you can access that main cavity. And holy cow, that is so useful, especially if you're using the camera cubes, because the medium camera cube has a little side access pocket and you can slip your camera in and out super easy. But yeah, can't do that with the 30 liter backpack, and it's a bit of a bummer. I kind of wish you could. It only has the big cavity opening. Now that we've talked about the 45 liter, let's just go over the differences on the 30 liter, because there are some things that do make it a little better in the 45 liter, in my opinion. And obviously there's trade-offs to all of this, but I just kind of want to give you every little thing I can so that you have a good idea of what it is you want. Now, the first thing is the way it handles expansion. You have just a zippered expansion here that offers just a little bit of poof if you need it. But I honestly have never needed this with the 30 liter, because if I need more space, I'm obviously going to take the 45 liter myself. The other thing that's really cool is that I actually like a lot better is this front pocket here. Now, if you remember on the 45 liter, it was just a little sunglass pocket that you could store a pair of sunglasses or maybe your cell phone or something in there to have easy access to. But on this one, it's a little more involved, and I really like what they changed about it. Like, you have these sort of stretchy pockets here for pencils, batteries, whatever. And then you have a nice zippered pocket here with more little extra storage pockets. So way more organization. That just makes it a very nice upgrade from the 45. Now, externally, everything's sort of similar. Tuckable shoulder straps here. No waistband, which, geez, what a bummer. But pull straps, and then just a giant zipper for the big cavity. And here you go. Here's just the giant cavity. Same sort of laptop and tablet pocket here that, again, doesn't quite go to the bottom, so you get a little buffer zone to keep it from smashing against stuff. And then this has been my daily camera bag. So I have a small camera cube in here, and then I keep other things up top, but you have mesh zippered pockets in the back, and you've got them on either side here, and then you have all of those little strap-in places to keep this secure. Like, I have mine strapped into the bottom here, and that's just what I use for my day-to-day. And then of course you have, with all of these, capture clip accessibility on the strap, and every single backpack that Peak Design does has this little chest strap here that hooks on and lets you go. But this is the 30 liter on me, and you know, I'm pretty tall, pretty big, so it doesn't look like a ton. This is just a nice small everyday bag for someone my size. But all of these products from Peak Design and their travel series are so well thought out, and you won't go wrong with any of them. Like, they have been very useful to me in my day-to-day and professional life. And since I have so much of all this stuff, I can say very confidently, with anything you buy from Peak Design, travel line, everyday line, camera accessories, mobile phone accessories, the build quality is phenomenal. But if something were ever to happen, that leads me to my final really awesome thing about everything Peak Design is they have a fantastic lifetime warranty. They are so good with that. The few times, I think like just a couple of times I've ever had to do a warranty claim, they were so easy to deal with. And that level of care and customer service that they provide with anything that you buy from them really makes the premium that they command very worth it. So if you're looking for travel bags, everyday bags, camera bags, wash gear, tech gear, whatever it is, this peak design stuff definitely has you covered. And hopefully this giant overview of all the travel gear has given you a very good idea of what would work for you and what wouldn't. If there's something you want to see in more detail or want to know specific questions about, please put it in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this video, I would love it if you would subscribe, like, and just comment on the video below, because that kind of stuff helps me out infinitely. And it's not like I get paid to do any of this for you guys. But if you like it and if you found some use in it, please do that so more people will see it. So maybe one day I will be able to get paid to do these reviews and deep dives into things for all of you. But as always, I hope to see you out there. Bye.